I have a take on Angel Reese that I'm sure will trigger a bunch of people, but I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese missed more than one game. She didn't even turn up to see her team lose badly to the Fever once more. No court appearance, no injury report, nothing. Fans are now inquiring as to whether this is a back issue or whether she has simply left Chicago. Walking away becomes alluring when your team has lost 1-7 versus the same opponent in the previous 2 years. However, is Reese simply avoiding the collapse by hiding in plain sight, or is she leaving for good?
A lot of people are kind of surprised, and a lot of people are, calling out Angel Reese right now. And I think we are in a world where, when it comes to Angel Reese, everything is under a microscope.
Consider this: due to an injury, your most well-known player is not playing. But she's nowhere to be seen cheering on her team, clapping after huge plays, or sitting courtside in street clothes. Not even in the tunnel, not in the arena. That's precisely what happened during the Chicago Sky's matchup with the Indiana Fever.
The Indiana Fever are 7-1. I repeat, the Fever are 7-1 in 2 years against the Chicago Sky.
Furthermore, this wasn't just ordinary Tuesday night game. For the past 2 seasons in a row, Indiana has dominated the Sky, 7 losses, 1 victory. This was the one game where a team really needed their star to at least make an appearance. Ghost Town instead, on supporters' phones and TV, the evening unfolded in real time.
Oh, she went to a few games with a back injury, and let's be real. The fact that this game was in Cambridge is definitely part of why she wasn't there. If this game wasn't in Cambridge, do I think Angel Reese is there? Sure.
The Skybench is being scanned by cameras. Failed to locate her. The same is true with sideline shots. She was just mentioned by the injury label in the broadcast. Even if you have a season-ending injury, you typically stay in the WNBA, which is half for team spirit and half for show. To demonstrate your dedication, the PR staff makes sure you're in the spotlight. Here, that did not occur.
I think she looks over at Caitlin Clark and says, hey, Caitlin Clark is out with a legitimate injury. I proved my point before the All-Star game when I went on a 10-game run trying to justify being on the All-Star team.
Social media was collapsing as the Fever were gaining ground. Comments on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter are all in disarray. People wanted to know if she was still in Chicago. By not showing up, some thought she was making a message. Others were furious, claiming that she appeared to have left them. The storyline had already changed from Reese is hurt to Reese is finished by halftime. The Sky grew louder online as it fell more behind.
When the first voting results came out about the All-Star game and I was 13th, holy cow, Angel Reese panicked, started playing hard, tried to put up some stats to justify being on the All-Star team, did that, and now she said, hey, the Chicago Sky sucked this year, peace out.
After the game, there was a single response that seemed to capture the spirit of the evening. Someone defined the recent event as a belt-to-ass loss right away. It goes beyond simply stating that you lost badly. In other words, you were humiliatingly annihilated. And the worst kind of game to miss is when supporters are already doubting your dedication. She didn't
show up yesterday. She did not show up to watch her team get belt to ass again by the Fever. And I know people are saying, oh, they would have won if Angel was there. Man, they played Angel. They played without Angel there and they won. The Indiana Fever, they played with Angel there and the Fever won twice.
The scoreline wasn't all that was involved. It was the picture it displayed. Fancy someone battling to participate if you're hurt but still courtside. They honor that they will protect you. However, those same fans begin to believe you've checked out if you disappear. This is where things start to get serious. This absence didn't appear to be rest during their rivalry with Indiana. It appeared to be dissociation.
No one's going to call her out on that. I came to this conclusion this weekend when I watched the Indiana Fever destroy the Chicago Sky in Indianapolis on Saturday. Guess who wasn't there?
For many people that evening, you could really witness the precise moment when suspicion gave way to conviction. That was the end of it when they discovered she wasn't within the structure and the Sky was leaving the gym. She's hurt, but the subject shifted to she doesn't want to be here.
Number one ability is availability. If you're not available, you have no value.
One question that remains unanswered is brought up by this. Why is there not a single particular update regarding this? It is actually about a back injury. Not a single specific information, not even the kind of hazy schedule that teams like to provide. It is B, that the stillness conveys more information than the injury label ever could. Everyone continues bringing up back injuries as if they were unchangeable facts. However, I would like to know whether anyone has verified it beyond that initial statement. We are not discussing a player undergoing surgery, where you witness the interviews with the trainer, the rehab photos, and the press release. We have had no updates for weeks at this point.
Angel Reese declined to travel to Indianapolis, and her coach came out and said something about, she's just focused on her rehab right now, and, she's day to day.
There was not a single update from the team, no schedule, no indication of how she was doing or that we would reassess after 2 games. And that's strange in the WNBA. A sentence regarding a player's status is typically included in the weekly game notes. Even if they have an ankle injury, it seems as though Angel's file vanished.
She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing.
The problem with back injuries is that they fall somewhere in the middle. They are authentic. They are capable of being serious. However, they can serve as the ideal cover when you don't want to divulge specifics. You can't tell exactly how. Someone feels on a daily basis from an MRI. No one can accuse a player of lying if they claim that it still aches.
There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard. I think she's using her back as an excuse to sit out because she doesn't really care about basketball.
Stars occasionally rest with nebulous pain or tightness rather than risking further wear and tear when teams are out of the running for the playoffs. It happens, even if fans may not like it, and it's simple to justify it as preservation rather than giving up. People recall remarks like, "I'm not going to tell her to play through a back injury in this instance." On the surface, it seems logical, but after weeks of stillness, it begins to feel like avoidance.
She identified once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard, early in the year, and once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not going to win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume.
Because it could result in answers the team doesn't want the public to know, and fans would notice such stuff. No one wants to even bring up the subject. They're not illiterate. Because of this, the tone quickly changed online. People begin to believe that this is more than simply her spine. The longer there is no footage of her recovering or of her conversing with a trainer during practice, they begin to piece everything together when they see that she isn't attending games.
It's one of those things where I think a lot of people are making this something that isn't. She's got a back injury. Like, I'm not going to be out here saying that Angel Reese needs to go out and play through a damn back injury. I just don't think is the case, especially when your team is as bad as it is.
Now, it's assumed by default that she's checked out rather than just hurt. The kicker is this. Do we really believe she would still be missing if the Sky were leading the conference at the moment? Or would that injury suddenly become a choice? About playing time, to be honest, many people believe that this is a publicity stunt rather than a medical requirement.
A lot of the things when it comes to the Chicago Sky, like it's just been an absolute disaster for them. I don't think that they're in a position where they're going to succeed, but like Angel's a back injury.
Whether you're hurt or not, you're there, involved, and eager to play when you want to. In this instance, the quiet speaks for itself. Additionally, it presents a picture that is much less about a player recovering from an injury and more about someone avoiding a circumstance that she no longer wishes to be involved in.
Never had an explanation on what caused the back injury? What's a time frame for her recovery? It's similar to so-and-so's back injury. This is something she struggled with here or there. All we've heard is day-to-day, and Angel Reese has disappeared.
And if you want to know someone's true mindset, you look at their actions when the cameras aren't following them during the game, which is precisely where her social media activity starts adding a whole new layer to this story that makes everything else she does or doesn't do off the court much more significant.
I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA. These losses will not be on my resume.
Angel Reese is still out there talking when she's not playing, but not in the manner that the Chicago Sky would likely want. Since she quit playing, Angel Reese's social media has been showing patterns rather than game updates or teammate support. We're discussing likes on postings that allude to significant personal actions.
Angel Reese has taken this season off to focus on her off-court endeavors and to avoid these losses that the Chicago Sky are accumulating, to avoid them appearing on her resume. Angel Reese doesn't really care about basketball.
Quotations about reducing harmful energy or realizing your value. There's also that one caption, "You have to decide for yourself." No can't wait to be back message, no game photos. Just a hazy line that seems to be directed towards something more significant than basketball.
Road games as well. At the end of the day, if you got a back injury, just stay at home. Like, people are out here saying Angel Reese is pulling a Duana. If she was pulling a Duana, she would have been traded last week. Is she going to play this season? Probably not.
The league has seen this before. This has happened before. Before being traded, Brittany Sykes began sending out small signals on the internet. Nothing obvious, simply information that, with enough attention, you could piece together. People recognized she had been telegraphing the move for weeks when it eventually happened. That explains why Reese's feed appears so full at the moment.
I think there are a lot of people that want to look at everything as a negative when it comes to her. Just like at the same time, it's the same thing with all these players. Like, everything stars do is going to be under a microscope.
This film has been viewed by fans. The way she is responding to the rumors, or rather, how she is not responding to them, makes it even more bizarre. No playfulness, no denial. You people are taking too much from this tweet. Nothing to stop things before they go out of control. And that silence only makes it easier for supporters to continue their conjectures.
She then doubled and tripled down, saying that something happened even though she didn't hear it herself. And then she's there reposting tweets or reposting TikToks saying that Gamebridge is dangerous for her and it's a danger if she goes to Gamebridge and all of this crap.
Screenshots of comment sections with people deconstructing the emojis she used as if they were a code have circulated. A single heart emoji was even used by someone to spin a multi-paragraph narrative concerning her departure.
I'm rivals with Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, but I'm gonna tap out. I'm not gonna take the hour and a half, 2-hour bus ride or 30-minute flight to Indianapolis and accompany my team as they go to war against my so-called rival.
Not in my opinion. Additionally, the other layer here cannot be disregarded. According to several commentators, the squad is unsure about how to promote Angel. They have a player with a large following and a vibrant personality, but distance can quickly grow if she believes the franchise isn't giving her enough attention. For many stars, the off-court component is just as important in the modern game as the on-court fit.
And so she plays the sport because At 6'3", why shouldn't she? She has the athleticism to play, but does she really love this game? I don't think so.
Silence is not neutral for a player at her level. You have an option. Every fan is aware that confronting a rumor head-on is the simplest method to put an end to it. You are allowing it to breathe if you don't. Angel Reese isn't just letting it breathe at the moment either. Whether she intends to or not, she is providing it with oxygen.
Like, you're not going to risk someone for a back injury to come back when they're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to do that. I'm going to be honest. Like, there's no way.
The picture still becomes more apparent at this time. She doesn't attend games. A return date has not been announced. Her social media accounts are like a trail of breadcrumbs leading away from Chicago, which leads to the one question that everyone is currently unable to answer. Is this a temporary pause, or did she check out permanently without formally announcing it?
There are people that play sports, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever, because they have the talent, because they have the requisite physical gifts. Angel Reese is 6'3". What else was she gonna do?
Whether Angel Reese's back is troubled isn't the only matter at hand if she still wishes to be in Chicago at all. It might be referred to as a recuperation phase. One could refer to it as a silent protest, or what many fans already believe it to be, her leaving without publicly announcing it.